Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into this video. I'm very excited to share this one with you. I joined Ontario Sasquatch and Hastings Sasquatch on an expedition to a private hunting camp between Brit and French River on Ontario, where there seems to be continuing interactions with a small family of Sasquatch. So let's have a look at part 1. This is the witness's statement in their own words. I have a hunt camp 4 hours north of Toronto. Last fall, while moose hunting, my brothers and I were sitting on a large beaver pond close to our camp. Almost at sundown this night, we heard a loud scream or roar. It was at the edge of our hearing, but we all heard it. It lasted about 10 seconds and happened on 30-second intervals for 10 minutes. Fast forward to spring 2020. My family loves to go to our camp and explore on our ATVs. There's a small trail that strikes off the main trail and does a fun 4-mile loop. The trail was full of tree litter from a long winter. Large trees cross the trail in many spots. In order to ride this trail, we needed to winch many trees off it. It was very clear that no one had been down this trail in a while. About the halfway point, we came across some snowpack protected by the tight pine trees. Coming around the corner, there was bipedal tracks in the melting snow. They were melted out snow tracks. I joked and said they were Bigfoot tracks. They only lasted about 15 yards. We came across more snowpack, but never any other tracks. By morning, I had to go back. Upon finding them the next day, I found they were 3 to 4 inches longer than my size 11 hunting boots. The steps were very long. I was able to make them, but very awkwardly. Upon investigating, we realized there were 2 sets of tracks. They came from the bush and only used the trail for about 20 feet.
There's bear shit right here. Oh, sorry, Darren.
Bear poop. Is this the outhouse?
Yeah. They got a trail cam on it. These are bigger. Not there. No wide people just come through here that are like the bear. Fireweed. Sitting here. This is a narrow trail here, right? Yeah, this is just that trail over there is wide. Just sitting down here. Squat down here. Right here. And if I bet you can see what you like from here. Yeah. This is yeah, if I was one of them, like I said, you can stand up and you see almost through this. You can see through the bush here. It's just you're squatting here, right? Right where your feet. That's where you're almost laying down. Another spot here. Yeah, you can see your windows from here. If I was 10 feet high, I can see through that little hole. These raspberries here.
You know how heavy they have to be to make
There's an opening in the barn there.
That's right. And this is more beat down than what it was last week.
They're serious about this. Right here.
There is a trail that goes in there, goes out around, it comes out right at this point. So if something like that, they started the carts in or something like that.
Oh, okay. It wasn't an animal shed then.
Well, I think the horse tied up in here too.
A lot of,
No, this is like
this is flattened right down here, Dennis.
This is an original.
You're going to stay off it
Yeah, this is the last time
so that Lindsay can have a look at it. Right here.
Oh yeah. And is that where we came in?
Yeah,
over there?
We came by the outhouse right there and around the other side. This isn't us.
Yeah.
It's all flattened down going in into the trees there.
Are you under there, Lindsay?
I'm just checking it out.
Oh, it's Hank. We found another area where it's all pushed outward.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. Oh yeah. There's branches throughout except for this one little area here.
Yeah. And every time he hears the...
I don't know if you can catch it here. The heel toe area.
Oh yeah.
Very pronounced. Right there. There's another one there. She goes all the way through.
Gone off this way over into the...
Yeah.
Nice trample down there, and then there's another one up there. That's about 5 feet apart.
There.
We could almost put food here. Looks like they went back to the bush that way.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy cow.
We could put some food right here. It's packed down enough.
But there's a bigger male, there's a bigger tractor right here. And the step,
see the trail right through the
steps,
grass?
steps right here, but he's not touching the, he's not breaking this off, so he's big enough to almost step over this.
Yeah.
This here.
We left, and I thought it would be the last I'd think of them. I was way wrong. That night, we had very strange experience. We'd gone to sleep about 1 a.m. Around 3:30 a.m., things started happening. Outside is a screened-in porch, but we've not put the screens on yet. In order to get to our barbecue, you would have to scale the half wall or come through the screen door. The half wall is about 5 feet off the ground in height. To get over this wall would make a lot of noise, as the door was securely locked. All of a sudden, the barbecue moved. It woke all three of us up from deep sleep. We all sat there listening when the barbecue moved again. My wife freaked, asking what it could be. I said it could be a bear or possibly a raccoon. We listened, and all was quiet. And about 2 minutes later, it moved again. There was an LED night lamp on the table for nighttime emergencies. From my bed, it caused a reflection in the window, so I couldn't see through. I wasn't worried enough to get up and look what was making the noise. To be honest, we were all freaked out about talking about Bigfoot before bed. None of us were brave enough to leave our bunks. Then, to my horror, my young son said he saw someone. He said he could see a large man looking into the window. There was no one for miles. He said he must have had a black hoodie on, as he could only see the large outline shape and lighter colored face. From my angle, all I could see was a reflection of the inside cabin. My wife was too afraid to look out the window. He said he looked in for about a minute, then walked off out of view. 5 minutes later, we then heard scratching noises under the cabin. If I had to describe it, it sounded like fingernails scratching on the floor joists. It only lasted 3 seconds, just enough to wake you up again, but hard to decide the direction it came from. This happened every 3 or 4 minutes for the next 90 minutes. Finally, around 4:30 a.m., it stopped. By morning, we all had to pee. Thank God the sun had come up by now. We were all scared to leave the camp at first. After opening the door, I immediately noticed a weird track in the driveway. It's mostly rock around the camp, but there's a 30-foot portion of grassy driveway. Right behind my pickup, where we had stood to unload the truck, was this track. My dog went straight to it. He's a lab and rarely ever smells the ground. I pushed him away and investigated the track. After a couple of seconds, I realized it looked like a large, bare foot track. I could see the 5 imprinted toes. Upon further investigation, it looked like 3 different footprints. One large, one medium, and one small, all crossing each other. The small print was the same length as my 12-year-old son's, but much wider. It seemed like a sign, as these tracks were right outside the door. We then went to where my son saw the man standing. Sure enough, there were toe prints there too. I asked my son to go to his bunk and tell me what height it was. Using my dog's ball-throwing launcher, I held it above my head to try and figure out the height. At full extension, my son said stop. That was where he could see the black eyes. That put it about 9 feet to the eyes. The barbecue had indeed been moved. For me to reach the barbecue over the half wall was very near impossible. I could barely reach it from the ground. I would have had to have been another 2 feet taller to be able to grab it, and I'm 5'9". There were no claw marks on the wall to blame a smaller creature climbing into the porch. We stayed away from that trail today in the hopes we wouldn't get another visit.
Kind of bushy lake.
Luckily, the next night was without incident.
Looking for footprints and stuff. Easy access. That's why he lives here. That's showing off. Tomorrow we'll look for tree structures in here.
He said he found a couple.
There's gotta be one in here somewhere. But I don't want to go too far yet. You get up in the morning, come and do a good search.
There's a tree branch broken over there, but that's dead. It could just fallen.
Good size tree here. I don't know what this is, but I see toe marks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now is there another one sitting somewhere?
They had, I've only had 2 really bad bear encounters in the bush, both of them while hunting. And both times, somebody else put the bear up, and the bear.
Of course, I didn't bring a Kleenex to wipe the knife with.
Oh,
Okay, I'll just wipe it on the grass here.
is there a way you arrange these?
Nope.
So we'll put some hard stuff around the outside to keep the tomatoes from blowing off.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Keep the tomatoes from rolling.
Was that dried fruit?
Yes.
Mm.
There's
They're
more.
getting a real treat.
Yeah, and dates and.
I might truck down here in the dark myself.
Yeah, right? Well, I thought if there's young ones too, right? More dates.
Are those chestnuts?
Those are dates.
They're dates?
Yeah, they're dried.
Yeah, we eat a lot of dates.
Yeah, it's all very good. Tasty stuff. Naturally dehydrated. The goji berries aren't very good, up and again, if it was for me. And what's this in this?
That's got to be an inviting feast.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch. It'll disappear and we won't see what gets it. It's sneaky.
Triscuits.
They're sesame snaps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In Giant Tiger, they got Fiera Rocher
Rochers.
in bars.
Oh, wow. Not
Oh,
just
yeah.
the individuals.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're awesome.
Oh,
Do you smell it?
yeah.
Was it the outhouse? Did they use that?
I didn't smell it at the outhouse. I smell it up here.
No, he smells it too now, whatever it is.
Yeah, we didn't put the...
Did you say that they had sausage rolls in that store?
I don't know if I've seen them or not. I never went in.
Well, that's what you said. Yeah, we lost a good champion in John when he passed away. We were with him about 3 months before that, and we had some pictures taken with him, and he was okay with it, you know. People try to explain things that's comfortable in their own mind, and he's happy to think of it as a bear.
The two of them had a face-to-face experience with one in just south of Alberta. It was before they crossed the border. About 10 years ago. My youngest brother went with my middle brother to Alberta, driving him out there. He went to Grand Prairie. So, and my middle brother, he was driving along, and they decided they were tired. They only had a single cab truck. Neither one of them had any money, so they were just going to pull off and have a sleep on this logging road off the highway. So my brother pulls off the highway, and he's driving and driving and driving and driving, and my youngest brother's like, where the hell are you going? Like, we just have to get away from like the sound of the highway and the lights. He says, oh, we're just going, see, you might as well do is see the little moonlight night, see if there's any deer in like this on this trail. And anyways, they drove up the trail about 20 minutes. My brother's like, either we're sleeping or we're going to continue to drive. Like, I'm not out here to sightsee. So they pulled into a little laneway there, and it was late fall. It was cold, and he had a Cummins diesel truck, so it was quite loud. So anyways, so they just tried to get as comfortable as you can in a regular cab truck where the seats won't go back, and try and get some sleep. And the both of them woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning. My youngest brother would tell me about it. My middle brother won't even talk about it. But he said that he woke up to something, like it was just like high alert. Woke up like in a panic and looked, and he says there was a Sasquatch, what he described, had its hands on either side of the hood looking in like, would you guys shut the fuck up, turn this fucking truck off? Like, he says that was almost like the thought he had. Like, I think they were trying to hunt, and this truck was right in the middle of where they were trying to hunt. And he says when he woke up, like, you know, like you're still half awake, and this thing is looking in on the hood, and, you know, still had their headlights on, and then the thing walked away. He says when he woke up, and this all happened, he says it only happened for about 2 or 3 seconds. He looked, and my other brother was bolt awake looking at it and watched it walk away. And then he said there was about 12 seconds. Nobody said anything. They were just still looking ahead. And then my youngest brother was like, what the hell was that? And he says, that was time to go. And he put it in reverse, and they left. And he says they wouldn't even talk about it. So I could, and my youngest brother, he was drunk one night, and he was trying to tell me about it. And he's like, oh, I don't even know what it was. And then he started to say it was a deer. And I'm like, a deer looked in the window at you? Well, you know, I don't even want to say what it is because you think I'm nuts. I'm like, no, I'm probably the last person to think you're nuts. So he finally broke down and told me the story. So then I was like, yeah, I totally believe you. And he's like, really? He says, I've told 2 people and they laughed in my face. I'm like, well, yeah, most people will. And so then I approached my middle brother about it, and he won't even, he's like, yeah, I don't know what it was, it's weird. And I said, well, what, but he won't talk about it at all. So here they had a Class A sighting face to face with this thing for about 2 seconds from about 5 feet away, and neither one of them want to talk about it. I'm like, okay.
That's too bad.
And then they don't want to even acknowledge anything up here.
It's a bear.
Yeah, it's a bear. Yeah. It's a bear going back and forth and looking in the windows.
Is this that Japanese group?
This is Mesa Music Consort.
South America?
I'll get excited. Yeah, they're nice. Save their hands, right? Wow, what a tight package.
Hey ya, hey ya, ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, ya. Hey ya, ho, hey ya, hey ya. Hey,
Here's some footage I took with my night vision camera on the first night. Notice that light between the trees there? This is at 8:17. Here we have 8:18. The light is still there between the trees. And at 8:20, it is still there as well. However, at 8:33, it had disappeared. And again, another shot. At 8:50, still no light. I have no idea what that was. Thanks so much for watching this video. I certainly do appreciate that. This was part 1, and there will be a part 2, and part 2 is even better. So if you have any comments or ideas or anything you saw in this video, please let me know in the comments below or send me an email at uppercanadasasquatch@gmail.com. And in the meantime, we'll see you in the next one.